and this is the back. Name the lobe. Frontal lobe. Name the lobe. Parietal lobe. Name the lobe. Occipital lobe. Off to the side. Name the lobe. Temporal lobe. Now the whole thing is known as the cerebrum. The whole thing is known as the cerebrum. Okay? The two hemispheres of the cerebrum are separated by a band known as the longitudinal fissure. So this band right down the middle is known as the longitudinal fissure. Yes? Now up towards the front, if I put a piece of tape up towards the front here, like so, that would be the central sulcus. Now the central sulcus separates the frontal from the parietal. It also separates the sensory from the motor. Now do you see all of these elevations in the surface of the brain? Those are known as gyri, or a gyrus for singular, okay? So what the central sulcus also does is it separates the precentral gyrus from the postcentral gyrus. Precentral gyrus, postcentral gyrus. Does that make sense? Yes? Flipping over, and here we have the cerebellum. Now, just like the brain, just like the cerebrum, the cerebellum has two hemispheres, a right and a left. The folding that you see here is known as the fovea. The surface of the cerebellum is known as the fovea. Now, if you look right down the middle, the two hemispheres are separated by a structure right down the middle here, known as the vermis. The vermis, okay? And you can remember that because it starts with a V and it kind of looks like something else that starts with a V. Got it? Okay. Now, the only cranial nerve that I will ask you on this model is the olfactory nerve. This nerve here is the olfactory nerve, and this would make a good two-part question. Name the cranial nerve, the olfactory nerve. Where does the olfactory nerve terminate? At the olfactory bulb. Olfactory nerve terminates at the olfactory bulb. Got it? Now let's look on the inside. Do you see this band of tissue here? Corpus callosum. Corpus callosum. Just under that, you have the fornix. Fornix. Now, do you see this indentation here? Yes? Thalamus. That is the thalamus. Off of the thalamus, this region here, that would be the hypothalamus. So thalamus, hypothalamus. Okay? In the middle of the thalamus, you have a yellow spot. Do you see the yellow spot? That is the intermediate mass. The intermediate mass. Now, do you see the blue?
Yes.
The blue is the choroid plexus. The blue is the choroid plexus. Under the choroid plexus, do you see the pink line?
Yes.
That is a gland, and that is your pineal gland. Your pineal gland. This region here is the tectum. The tectum. All of the white that you see inside the cerebellum is known as the white matter, and that is also known as the arbor vitae, which means the tree of life. The arbor vitae means the tree of life. Now, if we also look, there's another huge gland right here, and what do you think this gland is?
Pituitary.
This is your pituitary gland. Your pituitary gland. Now, do you see the stalk that holds the pituitary gland to the hypothalamus? That little stalk there? Do you see that?
Yes.
The infundibulum. 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 Okay, is that everything on the brain? Can someone check for me, please? Oh, sure. This is the pons, and this is the medulla oblongata. Pons, medulla oblongata. Got it? Intermediate mass is right here. Anything else? Pineal gland is the pink.
What were the ventricles?
The ventricles I'm going to show you on another model. Scratch off cerebral peduncles. We did the vermis. Remember, the vermis looks like something else. The vermis is right in the middle here. That's the vermis. And the folia is the surface of the cerebellum. All of these folds. What else?
Parieto-occipital sulcus.
The parieto-occipital sulcus is right back here, and it separates the parietal lobe from the occipital lobe. So here's the brain off to the side, and if I put a piece of tape right here, that would be the parieto-occipital sulcus. Just think of the name. It separates the parietal lobe from the occipital lobe. Okay? Anything else? Now, the ventricles